event today is done by the Mediterranean Youth Council in cooperation with the North-South Center of the Council of Europe in the context of the Global Education Week. I would like to give the opening words actually to Miguel Silva from the North-South Center of the Council of Europe. Thank you very much.
Very much, Leïla, for your excellent initiative, and thank you also for the Mediterranean Youth Council for organizing this webinar. I think that one of the added values of this kind of initiative is, above all, this peer learning process. We are here to learn from each other, and nothing better than this campaign, the Global Education Week, to promote this kind of dialogue and open spaces of exchanges between different stakeholders across borders. We have one planet, and I think we are all, equally responsible for our sustainable lifestyles and respect of our home, our common home. We are glad to initiate this webinar and to participate in this webinar, and I will come back later with more details about our work. Just in a nutshell, the North-South Center is promoting global education through advocacy, professional development of educators, and also awareness raising actions. Just maybe to clarify for some of you who are not acquainted with this notion of global education is above all a set of competences that we have developed with educators for educators to tackle within learning spaces, contemporary challenges. So it varies from, peace, conflict prevention, sustainable development, and all these dimensions, intercultural dialogue, intercultural learning, all these dimensions that we need actually to really tackle in a more efficient way our challenges nowadays all together. So I will come back later, I think, Leïla, in another time slot to explain more about the process of the Global Education Guidelines.
And I will go now in the first part, our event today, and which is to know what is global education, and afterwards, indeed, also to know about the guidelines and the new developments on this. So there, if you want to know more, if you want to develop your knowledge, and also to have more information about the practices in global education, you will be invited to consult the resources from the North-South Center of the Council of Europe. And our world is interconnected today. And that's a lot. There is a lot of challenges, of course, to face together, but there is also a lot of possibilities.
Global education is an educational paradigm that promotes responsible citizenship of global issues and their interconnection. It raises citizens' awareness and critical understanding of our interdependent world. Each of us is responsible for contributing to sustainable lifestyle patterns. Promoting dialogue and sharing different knowledge is the basis to create participatory global citizenship. Global education is a holistic approach to education, exploring the growing interconnectedness between local and global realities. The relationship between peace, prosperity, people, planet, and partnerships. It fosters multiple perspectives to help citizens understand the complexity of the world in the 21st century and celebrate its cultural diversity, creating a mutual understanding. It generates critical thinking that empowers the fight against stereotypes, hate speech, populism, and environmental and migration challenges. The values we share with one another broaden our horizons and help people to grow in a more just and equal world. Sharing the knowledge we possess is the first step to approaching global understanding and cooperation. Active and engaged citizens are key to sustaining democracies. The North-South Center promotes global education based on 3 dimensions. 1. Policymaking. the push for the implementation of recommendations to promote the concept of global education, advocacy strategies, and policy development. 2. Awareness raising, contributing to the reflection and understanding of each individual's role within a globally interconnected society. 3. Capacity building and pedagogical support, offering a space for debate and sharing of experiences and good practices through a peer and intercultural learning approach. To foster this process, the North-South Centre of the Council of Europe has developed the Global Education Guidelines. Its objectives are to enhance and sustain strategies and develop competencies for global education, targeting institutions and practitioners from the formal and non-formal education sectors. Global education is the key to opening people's minds to become active global citizens. It contributes to a fair and sustainable world where everyone can fulfill their potential.
Education can cultivate in us a vision that sees beyond one's immediate interest to the world at large. It can give us a profound understanding that we are tied together as citizens of the global community and that our challenges are interconnected. Having a globalized world and being able to share everything together, it brings, of course, positive aspects. And in the meantime, we can say that there is some challenges that we face, and we need to understand actually the multiple interactions that we have together as at the political level, economic, social, cultural, ethical, environmental, and so on. So education global education is to learn about all the connection that there is in between, and that it's a paradigm actually that we need to understand and to have a critical thinking behind. Critical thinking is something that will come a lot, I think, in our discussions, because it's what we intend to develop since a young age of people. It's a long life process. It's not something that we define in one day. Here we mentioned the local and global aspect. So we need to have a balance and to know to have a critical view on what we have as a local level, that can affect the global level, and vice versa. Because indeed, now we can see that one thing that affects us somewhere, or that happens somewhere, finally can have impact in the other side of the world. Global education, it's not a fixed concept. Actually, it's evolving, and the aim actually it's also to develop new ways of thinking and acting. It's important to learn from each other, to share with each other, and that's actually the aim of global education. So as I was saying, there isn't one definition of global education. I can mention the definition given from the Maastricht Global Education Declaration already in 2002. Because indeed it's a long process, and it's not a new concept. It's not something new that comes in. Its activities behind it, or the practices are also involving. So actually, the Maastricht Global Education Declaration states that global education is education that opens people's eyes and minds to the realities of the globalized world and awakens them to think about a world of greater justice, equity, and human rights for all. Actually, this is also to be linked with, of course, the 2030 agenda, and I believe that you all heard about the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, and that you might all work for those who are working youth in the youth work. Actually, you might have it in your daily activities. Actually, so yes, indeed, global education is developed around as well the pillars of peace, planet, people, prosperity, and partnership. And that's why today I was mentioning that that we will focus on the partnership pillar of global education, and actually, if we focus on one of them, we can mention, for example, the quality education one. And the quality education part of the SDGs is mentioned to expect that by 2030 we should ensure all learners to acquire knowledge and skills needed to promote sustainable development, including, among others, through education for sustainable development and sustainable lifestyle, human rights, gender equality, promotion of the culture of peace and non-violence, global citizenship, and appreciation of cultural diversity and of culture's contribution to sustainable development. Indeed, now we can not oppose, but we can mention two cultures that can highlight. On one side, culture of the individual, and on the other side, culture of the partnership. And the culture of the individual is often associated with a culture of dominance, while a culture of partnership is based on dialogue and cooperation. Because now, as I mentioned, we are not alone actually in this planet. We are even now 8 billion, so we can't act as if we are alone. And we need to see and to foresee our future. You mentioned it. It was something that came in your main words of what is global education, and indeed, it's about also the future. It's about the present, how we can improve our present, but also our future. So from this, actually, this process of individuality that of course occurs, we need to balance it with the culture of partnership. And the detachment created by this process of compartmentalized education did not place like the educator or the learner in a connected world. And this is one of the main reasons why building bridges to approach, get to know, and critically understand self and others has been a daring experience. And here, actually, global education came to fill this gap and to finally to foster partnership between people, so between citizens, between all stakeholders, actually, because when we speak about people, it's about individuals, different individuals, but also about organizations and about different countries. So at all levels, actually, we can develop this culture of partnership, and that's why actually it's also important to have you all today. Because you're already working a lot on this, you're already building a lot of partnerships, and we aim to have this more in the future to improve all this. And actually, one of the discussions would be also to know how we can improve this process. Global education then is transformative learning that implies problem analysis and participatory decision-making processes at all the stages. The educator and the learner need to be able to critically examine the present reality and facts and explore how to move beyond it. And indeed, here we can highlight the importance of being part of decision-making processes at all stages, and the word participatory, so participation. And that's what we call for, actually, to have more inclusive participation and to have meaningful participation and youth participation, because it's not only about a part of the population who should be involved, but everyone should be able to act. And it's all what is about, actually, global education, to be aware that we can have an impact in our planet in a positive or in a negative way, but also in positive, because many people say that, oh, no, I can't do this, I don't have any impact. But the domino effect, even if there is one person, it can reach many people at the end. So for this, I trust it a lot, actually, and I saw so many great examples that that's why for me it's very important to share this. And indeed, it's about it's an analysis and critique of the present world situation, because we aim indeed to not only accept but also to see beyond it, and also the development of a set of competencies fostering democratic cultures, because here the word skills and competencies will come a lot, because we talk a lot about the skills, and actually I want to to mention here that indeed next year it will be the European Year of Skills, and that's global education is part of it for sure, because it's not only about formal education, it's about non-formal education and much more. So here it's also a vision of what alternatives to dominant models might look like, and a process of change towards responsible global citizenship. And the word responsibility here also has this importance. So as we can say indeed, as a transformative and a learner-centered learning process, global education stimulates self-consciousness about the learner's responsibility as an agent of change within its political, economic, social, and cultural environment, and makes the learner as well as the educator aware of the impact and the interconnectedness between the local actions and global exchanges. So actually, as I was mentioning, it's important to make the link between global and local. So think global and act local. So indeed, why actually the importance to know is why we are mentioning global education and why it's important. And it's what, as I said, the world we live in now, it's globalized, and everything is connected. So something that happens now at your level in your region can have a big impact, positive or negative, somewhere. So the aim actually is to have an active participation, transformation, and to promote an active participation of the learners in the society. And here are the 4 pillars of education. It's learning to know, learning to do, learning to live together, learning to be. These pillars were actually also mentioned by previous president of the European Commission, Jacques Delors. And learning, it's not only about learning in theoric way at schools. What we learn, it's also about our skills, our personal skills, how we act, and how we learn to live all together. So for this, I would say that the importance of education lies in helping people recognize their role and their individual responsibilities as active members of this global community, in the sense of engagement for social and economic justice for all, and for the protection and restoration for the Earth ecosystem. So I told you that indeed all the other pillars will be also mentioned, and the Earth, so our planet, is also of course important to mention here, and mainly in the context where the COP27 is taking place. To continue to talk about educators, because indeed now it's a challenge that educators are facing, and we are all living in challenging times in a controversial world. So global education is bringing new perspectives for educators to tackle the question that we are facing, and actually to enable, we need to enable learners to understand how world issues, while empowering them with knowledge and critical understanding, skills, values, and attitudes, giving world citizens the means to face global problems. To just list quickly what global education is calling for. So education as a process of individual, collective, and social transformation. Education creating critical and participatory thinking. Education as a lifelong training on democracy and participation. Education as a practice of freedom. Integration of formal, non-formal, and informal education. Equal opportunity for all. Praxis as a fundamental condition of education. Education as a dialogical act. Indeed, when you talk about practices, the importance, as I said, to have together the theoretical and also the practices to learn how to do, and vocational training is also, for example, something important here. So on this point, I will not be longer on that. As I told you, you will be able to find all the information and on global education in the resources that we will send you after. But I want to take more time to have you all discussing about the challenges that we have, and to hear from you actually from the initiatives that you have. So I just want to mention here what said the scientific director of the new institute in 2020 at the NEC conference. It's our strategy shaping transformations. Our poor people with transformability. So we need to make people the change makers for tomorrow. First of all, I wanted to link all this with the guidelines, because we were in the theory what is global education, but we need to put it in practice. And for this, the North-South Center developed guidelines, and I'm happy to give the word now to Miguel Silva to present it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leïla, for this exhaustive and very complete presentation of the global education concept and all the philosophy behind global education, actually. And now I would like to give some tangible approach explanation on how these resources that we have been providing to support educators, formal and non-formal educators, have been achieved. As you said, Leïla, education is a process. It is a journey which involves different actors, and this is precisely how the North-South Center has been applying its working methodology in the making of its resources. Should it be the global education guidelines that I will introduce in the seconds, or the online training schemes, or the residential trainings as well. In all these different dimensions, we follow a same logic. Actually, as I said in the beginning, we work for educators, but with educators. So all our work, should it be in advocacy dimension or capacity building, are done with educators. And to be more concrete, let me explain to you how the Global Education Guidelines has been drafted. It has been drafted by a group of educators, formal and non-formal educators, from 6 different countries, plus 1 country from the global south. The idea being that we needed, since you are speaking about global challenges, global issues, and global perspectives, that we needed to include in this drafting process the viewpoints of different people with different profiles and different cultural backgrounds as well, so that we would make sure that the resource itself would be really as objective as possible. So this the first phase of the drafting of the guidelines was completed, and just to open a bracket, the process was a truly intercultural process, an intercultural learning process. We were 6 people from different nationalities. None of us were native English speakers. So this is an important dimension, because it obliged us to be as accurate as possible in the expression of our ideas, and how our ideas could be understandable by a wide spectrum of readers. So after the first draft was completed, we submitted to a group of critical friends, and more precisely the national coordinators of the Global Education Network, which support the North-South Center in its activities. And we organized a seminar to present the first draft, and as a result, and after the consultation of the national coordinators from 40 member states, different member states, plus Morocco, we completed the global education guidelines, and this second version was submitted to a group of critical institutional friends, notably education, the UNESCO International Bureau of Education, the Youth European Forum, among others, and Concord. So, and after these 2 phases of consultation, then we had the final version. But that was the first version of the guidelines, and this was back in 2006. And of course, as any pedagogical resources, the pedagogical resources has to evolve and to respond to the challenges of education. And so in 2019 we organized a new a revision of the guidelines, and then we invited an expert from the Council of Europe who was dealing with the Council of Europe reference framework on competences for democratic competences, and a trainer who had been using the global education guidelines during our trainings, our residential trainings, and who had been collecting throughout the different trainings the feedback of the participants, of the beneficiaries. So, as I said, it is really an evolutive process. It's an ongoing process, and it's always being regularly updated through the consultation of our beneficiaries and through the evaluation also of our residential and online training courses. So this approach, actually, that I have explained to you, this intercultural approach and a multi-actor approach, is used for all resources that we have been producing. And the same happened also with the MOOC that we have on global education that you are invited to explore, but also the tutored online courses that we have been delivering, and the residential training courses. So we have been following this process, and I would like to add one more thing, is that all our training courses, should they be online or residential, are truly intercultural processes, in the sense that our group of participants are equally represented in terms of geographical representation and gender representation, and even the team of our trainers are composed by trainers of different nationalities, so that we really have in this exercise, in this reflection, because all learning dimension is a peer learning dimension. We offer a methodology, but we learn also through the process from the beneficiaries. So it's really a peer learning process. So I wanted to go deeper into the process itself, to show how the tools and how our working methodology really follow the logic of global education. And just to end, after this consultation online, I would like to underline 2 words that struck me when you were asking about what global education means for you, is future and also multi-perspectivity. So we have one future, our future. And to really contribute to this future, nothing better than multi-perspectivity and intercultural dialogue and learning process are fundamental, so that we really have this understanding of being a global citizen, with this sensitivity of about caring about the planet. So I will end here, and again my heartfelt thank you for Leïla for this webinar, and I look forward.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Miguel. Indeed, it's great to have you with us. And I wanted now to give the word to Raes and from Obesu, and I wanted to say that he will share more about the new developments, the great developments that we have for the EU Global Education Declaration to 2050. Thank you. The word is yours.
Thank you so much, Leïla. Hello, everyone. Very, very nice to see you. First of all, can you hear me well? Is everything all right with that? Amazing. Great. So yeah, it's, as I said, it's very nice to see you all here. My name is Raj Voiku. I'm 20 years old. I'm a board member of the Organizing Bureau of European School Students' Unions. We are the platform of secondary school students organizations from all over Europe. And I'm going to tell you very, very quickly about what the Global Education Declaration was and is actually, and how the process went, and sort of, how we got to where we are today. So basically, this whole process was coordinated by GEAN, which is the Global Education Network Europe. It's a network of education ministries and foreign affairs ministries and all types of ministries from all over Europe. And the point of this network is indeed to bring together policymakers in order for them to be able to, exchange ideas and good practices and so on. And GEAN has brought together policymakers to create the Dublin Declaration for Global Education towards 2050. And the point of this Global Education Declaration was indeed to represent a political commitment for all states and for all policymakers to make global education a reality at a national level and to further the work of global educators at the European level. The process of creating the declaration started somewhere last year, so in 2021. And ever since, we've been working on the declaration. The process was very participatory in and of itself. There were three constituency of young people, a group of young people, which was made up of youth organizations and young people from all over Europe, a group of civil society organizations and local and regional governments. And yeah, we've met many times over the last year. We've debated, we've contributed to writing the declaration itself, and the actual declaration was adopted in Dublin, I think less than 2 weeks ago. So yeah, right now we have this declaration, we have this instrument, which was adopted by ministers from all over Europe not too long ago. So the question right now is, what do we do with such a declaration? Because it's only natural to wonder if we can actually use it as an instrument or as a pedagogical tool. And I'm here to tell you that the point of this declaration is indeed to bring to the forefront these commitments that policymakers have done, and to make sure that us as teachers, as change makers, as young representatives, or wherever you might be coming from, we have a tool to hold these policymakers accountable in the process of reaching more people with global education programs and making sure that global education programs are inclusive and that they are quality-based and learner-based and so on. So the point of this declaration is that it lays out, and I can actually share my screen very, very quickly. The whole point of this declaration, and I'm going to paste the link in the chat as well. But the whole point behind it is that, as you can see, it really lays out some of the principles that stand behind global education and the reason why, we all do this and why we're all even here today and so on. We're talking about the crises and challenges that we're facing, the people's right to learn and to critically reflect on their place in the world. And it's a very comprehensive document. I really encourage you to look through it and to give it a thought. Because it can serve as a policy tool, it can serve as an advocacy tool, but it's super important to remember that global education is not only delivered in formal contexts. So it doesn't only appear as a part of national curriculum, which can be influenced by policymakers, but also a very, very important part of it is delivered by non-formal education professionals and youth organizations and organizations that facilitate non-formal education processes in general. So what this declaration also brings, apart from the commitments that policymakers have adhered to, is a very clear list of what global education is or can be. Of course, it's non-exhaustive, so you can maybe some of the things that you're doing are not here, or you can add more things. But it really provides us with a common definition of what global education is, and it is a follow-up to the Maastricht Declaration on Global Education. So, in that sense, I would really encourage you all to have a look at it and get in touch with me or anyone at Gene if you would like to get more information or know how you can get involved. And yeah, I'm here for any questions you might have. But I'm going to send you the declaration and. Yeah, thanks for listening.
So now we can see that indeed we look for the future. We look into the future that we can do and how we can. And I wanted just to share the information here, but I believe that with us we also have other members from the NASA Center Global Education Network, because indeed it's not about working all together, everyone on our side, but it's more to have a network and to build on it. So you might hear from other members later on. And here actually I wanted to open to some questions in the chat already. If you have some questions, I will be pleased to reply to. But first, maybe as we can take already one question, as Araras, you are still with us now. That's very good. So there is a question for Florentina, who is asking, does there is any concrete activities based on this declaration? As the declaration is quite recent, I'm quite curious about it as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Florentina, for the question. Yeah, so as you said, Leïla, it's been adopted very, very recently. So it's less than 2 weeks since the Dublin Congress, where the declaration itself was adopted. So I'm not sure on any if there is any follow-up already. I think it's less than 8 working days. But at the Congress itself, the youth participants, we had an official statement where we urged the leaders to and the policymakers that were there present at the Congress to take action and to draft action plans in their national constituencies. But right now the point is not, I believe, to expect action in and of themselves from the ministers or from the policymakers, because we know that rarely happens. But the point is for us to use this tool and this declaration as an instrument to advocate for change. And yeah, in that sense, I think a lot of people who've already been involved in creating the declaration have been engaging in the first step after the adoption of this document, which is disseminating the information that, we have a new global education declaration, that this is the framework that we will be working within for the next, almost 30 years. And so we're in the dissemination part, post adoption. But yeah, I really encourage you to take a look at it, and who knows, maybe organize an activity based on it, or yeah, I get distracted by Miguel's message, but yeah, as I was saying, or to even start an advocacy campaign to include global education in your national curriculum, if that's one of your advocacy targets. So it's a very versatile document, and it's a very versatile instrument, and I think that was exactly the point and the manner and the way in which it was created from the very beginning.
Thank you a lot. Thank you a lot for this information, and indeed we look forward to follow up on this and to go on, because I think that indeed it's quite recent and it's a very good development. So now actually I would like to move on to the second part of our meeting today, of our event, and I wanted now to highlight more in practice what is happening and what is going on. And first of all, before this, I wanted to give back the word to Miguel, as I see the hand raised. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leïla. No, very shortly, just to complement what Rari said, I mean, the importance of this declaration, the Global Declaration to 2050, is to have this framework. It's somehow in our league, it's not binding, but at least we have a legal framework to allow, for the advocacy of global education. So for any practitioners who wants to advocate for global education, at least they can refer to this declaration. So and for this, it is an excellent framework, and that we can use also as a monitoring mechanism within the work of our respective institutions. One last point about the language, which is really very important, just to let you know that the Global Education Guidelines is translated in French as well, in Spanish, and it is in the process of being translated in Serbian as well. The previous version of the Global Education Guidelines exists in 17 languages. So for those who wants to get initiated to global education, you have the possibility also to consult the older version of the Global Education Guidelines. One last point: don't make any confusion between the Global Education Network Europe, GIN, that was referred by RARES, which is a network of institutions, as he said, and the Global Education Network of the North-South Center, which is the network of the North-South Center of national coordinators across 14 member states and Morocco as well, in the process of enlargement also to other regions in Africa. Okay, I'll leave the floor now to you, Leïla. Sorry, and thank you very much for giving me the floor.
No, I wanted to thank you for your input on this, and indeed, it's important to mention that the accessibility in languages, because that's also something that we need to keep being aware of. And as I said, everything the guidelines as well will be shared with you and all this. So thank you a lot. And now I pass on to the initiatives and going more on to see what you're already doing, because a lot is happening, and sometimes the thing is that we don't know about each other, about what we do, and that's why it's important to have you all today. So without further ado, I will start with the first one, and actually that is led by the North-South Center, and that maybe many of you already have had the possibility to attend. And the first one will be the summer universities, including the Mediterranean University. And for it's as I said, it's led by the North Center, and it's actually international hubs that gather hundreds of young people, youth workers, experts from the field, and decision makers for a week. So actually, there is the Mediterranean University, which usually happens in Tunisia. There is the University on Youth and Development in Spain, and actually an upcoming one already which will be in Capo Verde next week. That's the African University on Development. So that's a very good example that we have on this. And in each university, actually, a number of youth-led and youth-oriented organizations have the possibility to run their own activities, trainings, seminars, or meetings with a dynamic and participatory context with which encourages networking, cooperation, and peer-to-peer education. That's why I really wanted to mention it today. Actually, it was for me a great pleasure to attend the Mediterranean, the Mediterranean University in 2017 already. But I will not be longer on my side, but I want to give the word actually for feedback on this from Khadija, who is with us today, and who can share her experience on this. Thank you.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? I hope yes.
Perfect.
Good morning, good evening, good night, Good, good day to everyone, because I know that you are connected from different side of the world. First of all, thank you, Leïla, for having me. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. I will be very, very short, since I just wanted to give my feedback, because I was attended the MedUni University in 2019, and I prepared a short presentation because I wanted to show you some photos. First of all, who I am. I'm Khadija Tira. I'm from Italy. I'm a youth worker from Italy. I'm involved in different fields such as global citizenship education, youth working, peace building, intercultural dialogue, interfaith dialogue, and so on. And in 2019, I was selected by the Council of Europe to attend the MedUni that was regarding youth in global citizenship and was held in Hammamet. I was selected on behalf of this project that was related to no hate speech. We were selected from the Council of Europe. We were in 30 participants from Council of Europe member states. So we were from all over the Europe, the Middle East, and also North Africa countries and other COEC member states. And the Council of Europe department, in cooperation with the North-South Center, and also the national campaign of the No Hate Speech movement in Morocco and Tunisia, they had an amazing idea to organize a training workshop called Alternatives Countering Hate Speech and Injustice through Dialogue and Human Rights Education. Okay. Basically, in this training, we had the opportunity to share our thoughts regarding hate speech movement in Morocco and Tunisia, and also to share our good practice as a young activist, youth workers in Europe, in the Middle East, in Africa, and the main objectives and aims on this training was to support the peer learning and develop the capacity building of activists or youth leaders that are really involved in no hate speech youth campaign in Morocco and Tunisia. And also the main subject, it was related to share also our youth engagement in our society. And also we analyzed the UN resolution about sustainable development goal that was related to the goal 16. And also the training had a great aim to facilitate a meeting between participant and expert regarding on this topic. During the training, we had also the opportunity to attend a quadrilogue seminar on youth, peace and security agenda. It was very interesting because we had a word cafe method. They divided us in different groups, and we talked about the youth, peace and security agenda in the Mediterranean region. And an interesting things that I really appreciated, there was different languages. There was Arabic language, French language, and English language. So they had really, they give us an opportunity to express ourselves in our own language. So in this sense, they also offer an opportunity for all youth to express themselves in their local language. For me, it was an amazing experience. I come back to Italy and I talk about this summer university. And I always suggest to young people to attend this kind of opportunity because it's always an amazing opportunity for us to meet other people like us, to also learn from them and to be part of a global network. In this term, thanks to the North-South Center, we had the opportunity to engage and also to raise our voice and to be involved in this field. Thank you so much.
Many thanks. Thank you a lot, Khadija, for your feedback. Indeed, when you mentioned summer university in for example, in Tunisia, we have it like very nice stars coming. So yeah, and with no further ado, I want now to introduce Neringa, Lina, and Damit to present the Erasmus Plus worldwide. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. In the spirit of co-participation, we will share, as Leïla has mentioned, the presentation with Damilona and Lina. And apologies for the background noise. I'm in Sharm el-Sheikh for COP climate negotiations that are going on overnight. So you'll hear some weird noises here and there. Let me share my screen to present you the project on Erasmus Plus global dialogue on youth and peace that has been implemented in cooperation with the 17 youth alumni and academic organizations from Europe, Asia, and Africa. And the project has been supported by the EU and Erasmus Plus Student and Alumni Association. The initiative will also contribute to PhD research that I'm doing called Making Room for Peace-Building Youth, investigating the quality of youth participation in policy making within climate justice and peace. We know that since the establishment of the UN SC Resolution 2250 and the Youth Peace and Security Agenda, there has been a stronger push to include youth participation throughout different institutional and non-institutional processes, and many governmental as well as non-governmental organizations have taken quite strong and decisive steps to mainstream youth participation across different areas. When it comes to global cooperation and youth, we see quite a few interesting dynamics. So one, for example, in Europe, there's a quite strong clash between the security community and the development community of the professionals and civil servants. So some of the development cooperation ends up not going for youth organizations, but securitizing our borders. So we see that, for example, Frontex has 5.6 billion budget for 2021-2027, and it is a quite large question whether it's proportionate or not. Worldwide, we see that there's the lack of direct financing for youth-led civic society organizations and lack of meaningful youth inclusion in policy and decision-making. And this often also is signaled by a lack of meaningful youth participation. So just very broadly on how it would appear, one of the frameworks suggested by Hart starts with a ladder. So the lowest form of youth participation being manipulation or decoration. So for example, when young people are invited into a meeting just to appear there or ask questions, but they are not really influencing policy or decision-making. And the highest points on the ladder are when young people lead and initiate action or share the decision-making with adults. So to address this, we have initiated a global dialogue on youth participation and peace, which was joined by over 60 youth activists from Africa, Asia, and Europe, who received capacity building and prepared policy recommendations in 4 thematic areas. And 2 of them we will present very shortly. So one was on youth participation in local and international governance. Second one, decolonizing climate justice, youth access to funding, and EU-supported student and alumni networks. So here, I would like to invite Dami to shortly share about our insights from decolonizing climate justice.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Neringa. It's a pleasure to be here and to be speaking to this very honorable panel and distinguished ladies and gentlemen listening to this. All right, so I think Neringa, you'd have to share you're sharing this slide so that they're able to follow what I'm. All right, so in the meantime, while she tries to share that, the topic of our engagement then was about youth movement and decolonizing climate justice. And then if we think about the situation of things presently, we have COP27, and one of the most significant achievements or progress at this COP is that the Pavilion for Children and Youth is being included for the very first time. And then we see that this is a very important improvement because it seeks to institutionalize, the engagement of young people at the critical negotiation stage. But what our project essentially looks at is what is the role of young people or youth movement, so to say, in decolonizing climate justice. And this topic is very important because if you think about it, where the COP is currently holding, it's holding on the African continent. And if you think about the African continent itself, it's a continent where we have a number of young people, which is over, statistics have shown that it's over 60% young people, and it's very likely to increase in the future. So this speaks to the essence of why young people should be at the forefront of demanding for remedy on climate justice. And you also think of the African continent as one which has contributed the least to the responsibility on climate change, right? So what specifically do we want the policymakers to do? One of it, specifically, as you can see on your screen, is that first, when we speak about policy, young people should be consulted in the co-creation of climate policies, right? One of the key instruments that is necessary for climate action right now is the Glasgow Climate Pact, and that's Climate Pact talks about the role of young people and essentially also indigenous communities. So if you look to your left-hand side, you see that youth movement and indigenous communities' solutions to climate change is also very, very, very important. One of the things that we considered during this session was about how the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change only considers scientific data on climate change, but the input of young people and other indigenous communities are usually not taken into consideration. So apart from policy co-creation, we also need to include their initiatives when climate change solutions are being, discussed. And I think another very, very important part of it is that also at the grassroots level, I think we've spoken a lot about, the importance of language today. And what we have seen is that in the language in which climate change itself is communicated, it leaves out a number of people out of that conversation. So this is why we are saying, how do we bring, a kind of advocacy around this issue of climate justice, which is led by young people, but also speaking this in the language which the members of their communities understand, because they are the people who are most affected. And usually these people are in the informal sector with less education and, very, very interesting solutions to provide when it comes to climate change, right? So we have said, as you can see there, what are the key recommendations? Include youth movement and indigenous communities' input when it comes to climate resilience, adaptation, and mitigation. We're looking forward to how all of this input will turn out in the actual COP itself. The next one here speaks about provision of finance for young, for youth-led movements who are working actively in this space. So what you find is that there's the energy to work, there's the innovation on ground, there's the creativity, but the main thing to actually support this action is the finance. And as we all know, it's also a very big topic here, but it's a very interesting one because finance is very important to support the quality work that is done to bring it from a lot of the promises that we have had into practice. So the next one that we can see here, without taking much of our time, is also the role of collaboration. So when policymakers speak about climate solution within the communities, how do they actually collaborate with youth leaders, with youth activists within the communities to work together to ensure that for the NDCs that each country has, it takes into account the role that young people can play in closing the gap between the promises that are made or the commitments that are made into implementation. And the last one is that there's need for more campaigns to be done, right? So there are people who are working at the forefront of raising more awareness, taking all of this conversation we're having online to the offline, right? So I think that is where where the bulk of the work is. And to leave it this way, re-emphasizing again, a lot of the people affected by this issue of climate change we spoke about are in the informal sector. And I think that's where the campaign for youth movement is also looking at. How do we take the message to them for them to understand and then, to not just be thinking and preoccupied with the basic survival challenges that they're facing, but to also see the urgency of climate change and how this, affects them and can provide solution on the ground. So thank you for having me. I think I'll pass it down now to Neringa.
Thank you for this comprehensive overview. And now for a minute and a half, I invite Lina to share the recommendations on the alumni networks.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me and see me clearly. My name is Lina and I come from Kenya. and I was also part of the team that organized and facilitated the workshop that Neringa just described. So our part was a discussion that involves student and alumni network members. And I think that many of you or some of you here are members of this organization. So the EU supports several students and alumni networks in their activities to promote the different EU-funded study programs. So lately, we've been facing some difficulties and challenges between us and the service providers. So we thought that this would be a good opportunity to brainstorm and to come up with recommendations that would help us to function properly, as we all know that these are voluntary positions, and people have time, doing their own things, but then they also want to volunteer for these networks, but sometimes it's not easy. So Nering, I can go to the next slide. Rather many recommendations came out from this session, but ideally, it was just a discussion to, make our voices be heard, and so that the European Commission, who is our funder and major stakeholder, would understand that there are some pain points even in the process of being volunteers. So some issues that came up ranged from project management. The process of getting funding from the European Commission is sometimes very intimidating. It's not easy, so we'd like it to be streamlined. And we're thinking maybe we could have regular communication between us, the service providers, and the European Commission, because right now we only have meetings with the service providers, and we don't know if our outcries reach the European Commission. And also we would like some of these rules and regulations that are sent to us from the European level to be for different situations, because in the networks we have Africa, we have Western Balkan, we have European, so each situation, or rather all the volunteers have different situations surrounding them. So sometimes the rules are very strenuous, especially for some of us in Africa. So I've been given a very short time to speak, but the recommendations are on the website, the project website, and I think Neringa can share this information so that you can see more about the project. Thank you.
Thank you, Lina. Yes, as mentioned, in case you're interested to hear more about one of these 4 topics, we encourage you to visit the website, which is globaleyouth.eu. You can also follow us on Instagram or use the QR code here and subscribe to the newsletter and other updates, and perhaps we cooperate in the future. Thank you.
Thank you all for presenting this amazing initiative. Actually, I was very happy to be part of it as a participant. So that is amazing, and thank you for all this information. And as said, you will have all that, and you can check the link. So now I will directly also move to another amazing initiative. It is Mediterranean Youth Academy, led by the Mediterranean Youth Foundation. And for that, I want first to give the word to Omar El Masri to introduce yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leïla. Thanks for your invitation, and I'm very glad to be here in the middle of all the great panelists today. I had the pleasure to listen to the initiative of the Mediterranean University, and also to listen for Mr. Miguel from the Global Education Institute. Today we'll be tackling the Mediterranean Youth Academy, what is one main project that we work on in the Mediterranean Youth Foundation. The Mediterranean Youth Foundation is a foundation established in Cairo, Egypt, with another branch in Alexandria. And we are mainly tackling the dialogue between the southern and the northern Mediterranean young people. we have seen the Mediterranean region as a region historically had a huge economic, political, and social challenges. People in the Mediterranean had environmental challenges related to pollution, social challenges related to gender, and the woman empowerment, especially in the southern Mediterranean countries, and also related to political issues, democracy, and the peaceful transition of power is in danger in the southern Mediterranean countries especially. We have witnessed also in this region a huge challenge regarding the migration, illegal migration, and how the ideas, the trends of the populism, Islamophobia, Western phobia, Eurocentrism is shaping a huge challenge for dialogue between people from the northern and southern Mediterranean countries. So we started it. We started the Mediterranean Youth Academy. The idea is about gathering young people from different countries across Africa, Asia, and Europe, countries bordering the Mediterranean Sea, to come and to talk about different issues, to exchange point of views, and to raise the awareness regarding many important points of arguments that we had in our region. We had to talk, and that's why we organized workshops and we organized lectures, sessions from different facilitators that came from different countries, when we was insisting that people from different countries participate, not only as attendees, but also as people who give lectures, people who coordinate and moderate sessions. And I have a very quick video that I would like to show you about the Academy. The Academy was this year in Alexandria, a very nice Egyptian coastal city. We enjoyed to have very intellectual, important attendees and participants, such like Leïla, Narenga, and Dumel, our friend. So please, Leïla, share the video if possible.
MENA region is the youngest region in the world with the highest unemployment rate of university graduates. We needed to do something about it for our own mutual benefit. Let me tell you what the European Union is doing to support youth empowerment.
We are living in unprecedented times with new and complex interlinked challenges.
Skills, jobs, and other very much needed support.
you, Leïla. As we have seen now, it was a very enriching lectures and events during the Academy. I had the pleasure to attend this year, but the previous year I was part of the Academy. So those people are gathering to talk, to discuss, and to also to suggest ideas. So it's not only about the people have sessions, lectures, and discussions. They also have the opportunity to have ideas to talk about proposals that they can work on together, and they can also seek ways of funding. They can share information about different opportunities for young people from the Mediterranean countries. They can talk about scholarships. They can talk about travel opportunities for both of them. So this idea is all about discussion, about dialogue, about people talking about their affairs, their future, their opportunities. And they also think about solutions about the regions. And when it comes to the Mediterranean, it's very important, as we have seen Mr. Christian Borger, the head of the EU delegation, says that the Mediterranean has intersecting with the MENA region. The MENA region is one of the most important region in the world as a resources, as a place of conflict and a place of arguments. So this Academy is not only a dialogue between people from different countries, it's a dialogue between East and West. So as we shared, we are planning next year to have the Academy in one of the Northern Mediterranean countries. We are planning especially to have it in Spain, hopefully Barcelona, and we'll be having the opportunity to invite more people from South Mediterranean, also from European countries. We'll have a scheme for representing people from Baltic countries and from Turkey, from different neighboring countries for Europe, and also from Arabic region. So it will be a pleasure to have you, and please have a look to our Facebook page, have a look to our LinkedIn page, and I invite all of you to apply next year for the Academy next summer, and to enjoy summer days with us at the Academy in Barcelona, and also to think about ideas, about initiatives that you'd like to propose for the Academy, and to also to benefit from the lectures, the sessions, and the discussions that we will have next year in Barcelona. So any questions or queries, I'll be here. I'll be waiting, and also I will share my email and my LinkedIn profile to network with all of you. And now it's over to Leïla. Thank you.
Many thanks. Thank you a lot, dear Omar, for this great presentation of the Mediterranean Youth Academy. Indeed, actually, it was a great experience, and we are looking forward for the upcoming session that you will have. Now, without further ado, because now I will give the word to Florentina, actually from Coco Network, because here you will hear also very good opportunities and very amazing work that is done. So, Florentina, thank you a lot for being with us here, and thank you to everyone for being here. Thank you. The word is yours.
Everyone, I hope you can hear me. Hello. Me too. Sorry for the background noise. I'm also in a coffee shop right now. Thank you, Leïla, for the invitation. I'm actually very happy to see that there are so many fellow Romanians here, as I heard Raresh as well. I'm happy to see also fellow friends, Neringa, Dami. It's a pleasure to see you again. So actually, as Raresh mentioned earlier, a lot of non-formal education, ACAP, sort of like global education initiatives are coming from the NGO sector, from youth organizations. And I represent a youth organization. I'm the communication manager of Coco Network. And we do several projects that are actually sort of or massively based on global education. I will shortly just share a quick presentation with you. So we say that we are a network of coconuts who conspired to take over Europe through innovative youth work opportunities. We have 3 directions that we have our projects. So our projects are dedicated for young people that are aged between 18 to 30, even sometimes above 30 if you are a group leader. And we just do a lot of projects on entrepreneurship and design thinking. We teach young people how to open a business, or like how to think about a solution in order to open a business. Intercultural learning and peace building. We teach a lot about human rights, about race awareness over hate speech, tolerance, xenophobia, polarization, extremists, and so on. And we also deal a lot with the digital youth work and participation, digital literacy, because basically people just woke up in an era that is like, I don't know, 90% digital, and they don't know how to use particular digital skills. And also to combine that with youth participation, as you mentioned earlier, as Neringa said as well, there is a lack of actual youth participation that is having an impact. So through our projects, we are trying, first of all, to like teach youngsters about European institutions, for example, or like what is exactly EU doing for us. We engage them in debates to actually practice some of their rights, you know, freedom of expression and so on. We were born in democracy. We were born with the right to vote and travel freely, and like many of them are not aware that there were actually people in the past who died for that. So we try to raise awareness about that. These are some photos from some of our projects. We had projects all over Europe and a lot in Morocco, because my colleague, he is Moroccan, and we work a lot in the collaboration between the North African countries and the South Mediterranean countries. Until now, actually, until November, we had 35 projects, youth exchanges and training courses funded by the European Commission. So basically 1 week projects when we bring people from all over the world in different countries, 18 countries to be more exact. Luxembourg, France, Latvia, Italy, Spain, Morocco. We had some in the Caribs. We sometimes have some in Romania as well, Greece, of course. And we have more than 800 young persons impacted by our projects until now. This is a very low estimation. And we hope to do even more for the upcoming year, to maybe provide even more opportunities for the young people. And yeah, this is from my side. I'm trying to find out how to stop sharing the screen, and I will also like you to maybe see a short video to feel exactly the atmosphere of our projects. So Leïla is going to help me in sharing a video from our latest project that happened in Portugal, in the Azores island, and the project focused on sustainability and entrepreneurship. So we asked the participants to think about solutions to local challenges that the people from villages, abandoned cities are currently facing. So they had to think about how to urbanize an old coal mine, or like how to tackle a brain drain, or how to tackle a dying village, how to attract people to a rural area where nobody wants to come anymore. So Leïla, if you can.
Participating in a youth exchange in Flores, an island in Azores, Portugal, organized by Coconut Work. During this project that was about sustainability and sustainable businesses,
I had the chance to talk with all these people from all around Europe about how things are working in their country and how we can find ideas to actually make use of the local resources that we have and to enhance the rural community, to bring them together and to create like a business in the future.
So this project really helped me explore my options and opportunities for what I want to do in my future life. I actually learned a lot about how to become an entrepreneur, and I learned a lot about design thinking methodology, how to use it and what to do with it. So I'm further thinking of becoming maybe like a marketer or some kind of social entrepreneur. And maybe further in my future, explore this island even more, explore its incubators that we saw on the 27th, and see what are the opportunities.
Learn how to create our own prototype and prototype about the business related also to environment, and we try to test it here with the other participants and see what impact could it have.
For me, this project was really personally transformative, even though I already have a lot of experience, but I got inspired to working with the team on developing solutions for this island where we are today, solutions for bringing more people, increasing the economy, and attracting digital nomads, for example. And I'm really looking forward to see where the project goes, and because I believe that we can have a big impact, and we can really truly impact this island and hopefully the rest of the Azores Islands and Europe.
Also, by discovering this island and these amazing landscapes, we were able to connect more with the environment and build relationships and connections for the future with the other participants from countries almost all over around Europe.
So thank you, Coconut, for inviting me, and I'm looking forward to see where the future takes us.
So I hope you enjoyed. This is just a small glance of like what is happening during the 7 days project with us. I will invite you to follow us on Instagram because we have so many more projects coming up next year, and you can definitely get involved if you're gonna be the partner country. I will leave you our Instagram account because that's our main image of the NGO, and you can find more information there of how to get involved. And yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm gonna be here if you have any other questions about this kind of projects. Thank you very much.
Many thanks to you, Florentina. Indeed, I'm also looking forward to be part of one of the activities. And indeed, please follow them and follow all the previous organizations that are doing an amazing job on global education. I wanted to open the panel question, a short one. What are the main challenges to increase youth participation and to be more inclusive? And here I want to link it with a question that someone of you added already in the registration form, which is what are the most important challenges facing remote regions in gaining universal education, and how do we overcome those challenges? But, first, then I will give the word to Ibtissam.
So I wanted to talk about, for me, like the main challenge that we're facing is the mobility. There are a lot of people talking about my personal experience. I come from Algeria, and there is a lot of people there searching for studying abroad or just having a little expertise, like working for 3 or 6 months, having internship. But it's really difficult, like for the visa issues, for example, and there are not a lot of possibilities when you're from the south to go to study in Europe, for example. So yes, I would say the mobility for me, I have one issue, maybe another one can find the other one.
And on this, as you are already with us, Ibtissam, actually, I will again give you the word now to present the Med Action Festival, which is also an amazing initiative led also by with the Mediterranean Council. The word is yours. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So hello, everyone. I didn't present myself. Ibtissam, I'm the Vice President of the Mediterranean Youth Council. One of the main organizer of the Med Action, which is a festival that involves actually a lot of actions, a lot of events, debate, talk about like all the main topics that we need to talk about in the Mediterranean, and all the problems that we are facing, like as a youth, as Mediterranean youth. And there is for this year, it takes part in October. So it's an international event. It takes part like in presential, but also in digital in many cities. So this year, for example, it was in Marseille, in Tunis, in Oran, in Warsaw, in those that I know. So I know that there is a lot of city participating in this event, and really like this event involved a lot of good initiative, a lot of youth talking about the problem that they are facing, but also given some resolutions, some solutions to those problems, because sometimes as in the Mediterranean Youth Council, we have this like idea of the maybe sometimes the solution comes from the people who are like close to the reality, the most close to the reality, who are the young people actually. So yes, the Med Festival is a big Mediterranean event, and it takes place like every year. So to not be too long, I invite you all I will let you the social media of the event, but also the social media of the Mediterranean Youth Council, and you will you can see all the initiatives and all the event that we already done, and the future events that we will participate in. And thank you so much, Leïla, for inviting us.
Many thanks to you. Thank you a lot, Ibtisam, for presenting the MedAction festival. And indeed, it was also a pleasure to contribute to it through the Med Talk and other activities, as said, in all the Mediterranean region, remotely or in presential. And now again, I would like to open to a question or just food for thoughts. As we are talking about partnerships, and now you heard a lot about different activities, about different opportunities and possibilities of partnership that exist. I would like to ask you, of course, how can we increase partnerships for the development of global education between formal and non-formal sector and with all stakeholders? Well, why, of course, I mentioned informal sector because indeed learning comes as we know it about since our young age. It's from the formal education. We go to school, we learn, and in parallel, there is many ways to learn. We learn from our experience in life, and a non-formal sector is playing a lot on it. So, please, if you have any thoughts on this, what we can do to increase this kind of partnerships, like I know sharing information and all. So please share that if you would like, and otherwise you can also share in the chat. It's also about the skills. I mentioned the skills about because of the European year of skills, which is upcoming, and there will be a lot on it to do, and we will have a lot of opportunities to it. This year was the European year of youth, and we had a lot of opportunities to work together. We did a lot. We continued with what we are doing, but we had more support as well to do that. And for the skills as well, my question would be, how can global education help to develop young people's skills? And I think that it's already a lot what was presented before, but if you think about over practices, or if you have over talks about it, please come in, come inside. So in the meantime, please park it, and I will leave the Q&A actually and everything just right now, right after this, because I would like to introduce another way, because it can reply actually to the question I just said about how we can increase partnership. But it's not only about the formal and non-formal sector. It's about all stakeholders, because it's like we don't want to have compartment, and we need to have more synergies between the businesses, between institutions, between regions. So it's I think an important one that I would like to share. So the Youth at Work partnership that I would like to share. Actually, I will not say a lot. I will share a video on this that you can learn, and actually it's an initiative done with all the Erasmus Plus agencies for Europe, but also for partner countries, and it gathers all the stakeholders in different trainings, capacity buildings, and much more. As I was very also happy to be part of the partnership as participant in different in some of the events. I wanted really to share this with you, and some very good opportunities are coming.
Youth at Work, collaborative pathways to youth employability. Youth at Work, strategic partnership on youth employability and entrepreneurship of Erasmus Plus national agencies. Youth at Work is a transnational institutional alliance of 11 Erasmus Plus national agencies, 4 Salto Youth Resource Centres, as well as the European Solidarity Corps Resource Centres. The leader of Youth at Work is the Erasmus Plus National Agency of Turkey. Our aim is to advance youth employability and entrepreneurship across the European Union and neighbouring partner regions, Western Balkans, Eastern Partnership and South Mediterranean countries, as well as the Russian Federation. We do so by enabling peer learning, as well as cooperation and synergies between local, national, regional and EU initiatives on youth employability and entrepreneurship, providing recognition to and reinforcing the role of youth work in the youth employability and entrepreneurship ecosystems, as well as connecting it to other actors and sectors, are among the main objectives of Youth at Work. Through knowledge sharing, capacity building and networking events and platforms, we enable young people and professionals from the public, private and non-profit sectors to enhance their knowledge, develop their competencies, expand their network and develop new collaborative and sustainable projects. The Youth at Work Partnership is funded by the Erasmus Plus EU programme for education, training, youth and sport, one of the most powerful and popular EU programmes.
So here we are. I hope that this can be also interesting for you, and I really invite you to see what they are doing, to check the website, because many opportunities are there, and yeah. Inside, I wanted to highlight that entrepreneurship and employability are also mentioned, which are just also essential when we talk about the skills. Of course, we also talk about the labor market and how young people can also have more access to jobs, because it's not only about finding jobs, but we need also to find the jobs for which we have the appropriate skills and that we like. So that's something that it's important to know, and entrepreneurship as well, because entrepreneurship is also about competencies and the skills, and there is a lot of good insight about it. Thank you a lot first for being with us. I hope that all this was like interesting for you and giving you more information. I'm just going through the chat to see the questions. If you want to intervene, please do so. And I see, Wala, you are asking, Ernest, you have you here, and you are asking if there is a upcoming events or webinars online. That's actually, please also check in the chat. Miguel Silva also shared some interesting information, and he is calling all of you here. Actually, if you want to present some activity to do yourself activities during one of the summer universities, please feel free and do it, because then it will be physically, and that's also important, because yeah, we have different ways of doing it. So we have it online, as we are doing now, and also physical. And yes, Aldona, thank you. You are asking, are you aware of any project of reviewing higher education programs in order for young people to be more prepared for starting a professional life? When talking about higher education, now I think quickly about the initiatives done for the alumni networks, and one of them actually is the Oceans Network, who is working a lot on higher education to first to to develop more capacity buildings and developing skills among alumni, but also to have a link with institutions and actors from the higher education programs to improve actually what is being done. And this is also for the ESA Alliance for the higher education side. So there is actually many opportunities on this, and hopefully, indeed, we need to create more links between the formal education and higher education, but also with all the other opportunities to develop our skills. And mobility here was mentioned a lot. So I think that one of them is to have possibilities of mobility and to have first studies in other countries, but also some experiences. And here we can't say this without mentioning Erasmus Plus programs in the program, because there is for the higher education, so for the for this side, but there is also for vocational training. There is also for younger entrepreneurs, and here I would like to mention Erasmus Plus for young entrepreneurs. So for all of you, we hear a lot about Erasmus Plus programs for the students, but we need to know that it's for all ages and for all of it. It's North-South Center of the Council of Europe. We would like to propose a video projection debate afterwards on a video, on the great one that they produced called the Children of South. Those who want to stay, you can just grab a tea, grab a coffee, watch the video with me, with us, and let's discuss it afterwards. In the meantime, maybe before you would like to introduce it, Nadia, I would like to give you the word if you would like to introduce it first. It would be my pleasure, and in the meantime, I will look for it. Thank you very much.
First of all, thank you so much for having us. This webinar event has been amazing. I've been following and tuning in throughout it all, and I'm very excited to be here. So I want to talk, first of all, I want to introduce myself. So my name is Nadia, and I'm the Women Empowerment Trainee at the North-South Center, working with Miguel and working with my colleague Neriman at the center in different projects. And we wanted to use the opportunity to introduce our work on intersectionality, because we thought, what a better opportunity than Global Education Week to talk about such an interesting topic, such as intersectional discrimination. So the North-South Center launched a campaign about intersectional discrimination. It's actually on our website, and we've been creating different tools to kind of raise awareness about what intersectionality means and what discrimination and intersectionality together, when they overlap, how they affect people's life, and how as human we are very complex. We have different identities, and structures of injustice and equality kind of overlap, and we wanted people to understand all of this. So we wanted to use a tool that is educational but also creative, to kind of like open this debate about what intersectional discrimination means, and to see how, you know, whether you're discriminated against or whether you are within a system that makes you discriminate people, how can we see this and how can we talk about it? And we thought that since we are here and we have different people from the educational sector and stakeholders, that would be nice to see the video and kind of like give us your thoughts. And yeah, so that's a little bit about the movie. I think you have the movie, Leïla, right? So
yeah,
you can
perfect. Thank you very much for the insight for it. And indeed, it's a 7-minute video, so please listen to it and give us your thoughts right after. Thank you very much.
أن تستيقظ في غرفة لا يعرف أحد من عائلتك عنوانها، هذا ما يسمونه الغربة. أن ترقص مع الغرباء، هذا ما يسمونه الوحدة. أن تفقد الرغبة، أي رغبة، هذا يعني بأن حياتك على ما يرام، ويعني أيضا أنك لست على ما يرام. نحن أبناء الجنوب الذين اقتلعتهم الأيام وزرعتهم في الشمال، حيث الشمس باردة والسماء رمادية. نحن الذين تكثر علينا الصفعات من كل حدب وصوب ولأسباب عدة، فنصير واحدا ونحن كثر، ووحيدين ونحن جماعات.
And your name, please?
My name is Barbara Klein.
I'm so sorry, but it seems that you're not covered by insurance. You would have to pay out of your own pocket.
Thank you.
مضى العمر بنا نأخذ موتنا نزها يومية، وجدنانا هنا بجيوب خاوية وركب لا تقوى على حملنا وقلب متعب. هؤلاء نحن متهمون دون سبب مقنع، فبتنا نخاف من أنفسنا. نحن أبناء الجنوب الذين إن لم يجلس أحد بجانبنا نبدأ بالارتباك والتفكير: هل هذا بسبب شكلنا؟ ونبدأ بالجمع والطرح وشمشمة رائحة إبطنا ولعن الصور النمطية والإسلاموفوبيا.
We have looked into your mortgage loan application, and I'm very sorry, but at the current time we cannot give you the loan.
لا يفيدنا كلامكم المعسول ولا ضحكتكم الباردة. ثمة بعبع يفترسنا كل يوم عند كل مفترق، ونحن نبحث عن قوت يومنا وعن مكان يؤوينا. ثمة بعبع سيفترسكم أنتم أيضاً حين ينتهي منا. أغير اسمي ليتماشى مع مزاجكم، أحذف صورتي من السيرة الذاتية، ولا داعي لتعرفوا أين ولدت. لا أريد أن يهجم التمييز علي دفعة واحدة، سأقابله بالتدريج. فأنا اليوم بهويتين وابتسامة من الخردل، واحدة لا تشبهني فتقبلونها وتفتحون الأبواب، وأخرى تشبهني لكنها تعريكم فتخافون.
5 years now or so. Yeah, nearly the beginning. Yeah, not quite as long as you.
More or less the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, but hello.
Please, take a seat. Come in.
Hi.
Welcome to our company. Thank you for coming in today. We are happy you can be here.
Yeah, thank you also for having me. I'm also really happy to be here.
I'm sorry, but you didn't mention that you were a disabled person on your application, right?
The vacancy is for a programmer. I didn't think this information would make a difference.
Sure. No difference. We are an equal opportunities employer. As long as you have the skills, we have no problem.
جنوبيون بسبب خوفكم منا. نحن الذين لم تعرفوا عنا شيئا ونحن بينكم. خوفكم مني يجعلني نبيا، لكني أحب عاديتي. ها نحن الآن خفيفون جدا ولم نعد مليئين بالأسئلة، لأننا وببساطة لم نعد نهتم. نحن الأبناء الضالون الذي ما عاد لهم مكان، فالجنوب ينعتهم بالشماليين والشمال ينعتهم بالجنوبيين. نحن الذين أرهقتمونا بعبء الشرح ولم تكلفوا أنفسكم عبء الفهم. ماذا يعني أن تكون ذو لون مختلف، أو أن تكون فقيرا في بلاد غنية، أو امرأة في وكر رجال، أو مقعدا أمام عالم من السلالم؟ خاسرون لا محالة، لكننا لم نهزم بعد.
So here we are. Thank you very much, and thank you a lot for listening. We
start the conversation. I just wanna shout. I forgot to mention the creator of the movie, Maysoon Khaldi, who is a young Palestinian Jordanian filmmaker, and she's the one who produced and directed the movie. She's now based in Germany. And also the text is actually a poem, and I think at the end I forgot the name of the poet, but it's actually a poem, and it's a very emotional text. I hope the subtitle was clear for those who does not speak Arabic, because it's in Arabic. Yes, so, and also I wanted just to say that this movie was produced under the campaign that is called Intersectionality Transforms Our Realities, because I forgot also to mention that. So yeah, these are just small details that I wanted to say before we open the floor for any question or comment.
Thank you very much, Nadia. And actually, I already see in the chat very amazing
reactions.
so yeah, if you want to come in and to share your thoughts and to discuss about it, actually, now I have many things coming in my mind as well, because it's a situation that we all might face and might have faced. So that might touch you all. So please feel free to come.
Yes, please do. Any impressions, any things, if you want to just vent about how you are feeling, or you want to share an experience that you went, or if one of this situation triggered a memory in your mind and you want to share it with us, please, this is a safe space and we want to hear your story and open the conversation about this. So please go ahead and tell us. And thank you for, I'm seeing the chat here. Thank you so much.
Actually, there is many situations that I said we can face, and many that we faced already sometimes. And one of them is also the person who was just thinking about taking out her picture in the CV, for example. That's only one of the examples. I think that all of them are amazing. So thank you for this great work that you did at the Council of Europe. And indeed, because it's a situation that many of us face, depending on sometimes our names, our color, as it was mentioned, on different aspects. I see that Murad, you mentioned that you will change your CV. No, and actually that's what is global education. It's about developing mutual understanding, learning how to know more each other. Mutual understanding for me, it's very important, and this comes from dialogue, from discussions.
Actually, I just wanted to mention one more thing. We have a quiz, and it's more of like, if you don't feel like you want to share your experience, I will share the link. And actually, we're going to collect all the testimonies about intersectional discrimination. If you ever been discriminated against for who you are, or like for wearing a hijab, or for being an undocumented immigrant, or for having an Arab name, because unfortunately sometimes, as we saw in the example of the movie, she took her name to be more accepted. So if you went through this, I'm gonna leave the link of the quiz, and the quiz also is about what is discrimination, what is prejudice, what is privilege, kind of to understand more these concepts, but also to share your stories. And we wanna collect all of these testimonies, and we're gonna use them in the 16 days of activism coming up. So if you have a story to tell, please do share it with us. We would appreciate that.
Many thanks for this, Nadia. I think it's a great initiative to have also a quiz, because indeed it's sometimes easier to express what you think and about different subjects. There is many ways to raise awareness, to develop critical thinking, and so here I would like to really thank you, Nadia, for this proposal to have this video projection, because I think that's very good, and it's also good to start with a weekend like this to think how we can do better.
Yes, thank you, Leïla. No, thank you for giving us this space to share the video. And actually, this is kind of like a premiere, because we haven't shared the video to the public yet. So once we share the video, I will share it with you, and you can share it, with your network. And we want more people to talk about this very important topic. So thank you so much for having me and sharing the video.
Thank you very much. Thank you a lot, Nadia. So on these words, actually, I would like really to thank you a lot to everyone to be here today. I hope that it was like that you had many information to go back with you now as a luggage. So I hope that we can follow up on this, that we can do more, and that we can develop more partnerships, because indeed partnerships is also is essential to build the world we want together.